Hello, my dear students, and a very, very warm welcome to you. Today, we're going to talk about a chapter that isn't just printed in your book. It's literally all around you. It's in the air you breathe, the water you drink, and the ground you walk on. We're going to explore natural resources and, what's more important? Our relationship with them.
So before we jump into the definitions, just do something for me. Pause for a moment. Slow down. I want you to look around. Maybe you're watching this on a phone or a laptop. Think about the food you had for lunch, or the clothes you are wearing right now. Have you ever really, truly asked the question, where did all of this begin? The final answer, my friends, for almost everything is nature.
All right. So in our very first section, which we're calling Your World, Nature's Gifts, we're going to understand something quite magical. We'll explore the amazing journey of how simple things from nature get transformed into the useful items we depend on every single day. Let's find out how nature becomes a resource.
Okay, let's really understand this flow. It's simple but very powerful. You see, everything starts as just a part of nature. Think about a big tree standing in a forest. Right now, it's just a tree. It isn't a resource yet. Then, step 2 happens. A human need comes up. Someone thinks, I need a strong table to do my homework. At that very moment, we start seeing that tree not just as a plant, but as a potential solution. And that leads to the most crucial step, human action and technology. We use our skills, our tools, like saws and machines, and our effort to cut the tree, process the wood, and shape it. And just like that, at the end, that piece of nature transforms into a resource, a wooden table that helps us. So remember this, a resource is never just nature. It is always nature plus human input. अब इसे हिंदी में समझते हैं, प्रकृति में हर चीज मौजूद है, जैसे एक पेड़, पर वो अपने आप में रिसोर्स नहीं है। वो रिसोर्स तब बनती है जब इंसान को उसकी जरूरत पड़ती है, और फिर इंसान अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी और मेहनत लगाकर उसे अपने काम लायक बनाता है। यानी जरूरत और इस्तेमाल ही किसी चीज को रिसोर्स बनाता है।
So, based on that, here is the proper definition. For anything in nature to be called a natural resource, it has to pass 3 important tests. First, it must be technologically accessible. This means we must have the right tools and the knowledge to actually get it. For example, there might be minerals deep under the ocean, but if we can't reach them, they are not a resource for us today. Second, it has to be economically feasible. The cost of getting that resource shouldn't be more than what it's worth. It makes no sense to spend 1,000 rupees to get a rock that's only worth 100 rupees, right? And third, it must be culturally acceptable. This means our society and its values must allow us to use it. इसका मतलब है, प्रकृति की कोई भी चीज़ तभी एक नेचुरल रिसोर्स कहलाएगी जब ये 3 शर्तें पूरी होंगी। पहला, हमारे पास उसे हासिल करने की टेक्नोलॉजी हो। दूसरा, उसे निकालने का खर्चा उसकी कीमत से ज़्यादा ना हो। और तीसरा, हमारा समाज उसके इस्तेमाल को सही मानता हो।
So now we know what a resource is. But here's the thing. They are not all the same. Not at all. A good way to think about it is that nature has given us all these wonderful gifts, but they come from 2 very different places. And to use them wisely, we have to understand these 2 paths. So, this section is all about renewable versus non-renewable resources.
Okay, so what's the big difference here? Renewable resources are the ones that nature can basically refill or regrow within a reasonable time, within a human lifetime. Let's look at those 2 key words. Replenish means to fill up again, like how rain fills up our rivers and lakes. Regenerate means to grow back, like how a forest can regrow after many years. Sunlight, wind, water, these are the classic examples. Now, on the other side, we have non-renewable resources. These exist in a fixed amount on Earth. They were made over millions and millions of years. Once we finish them, they're gone for a very, very long time. We can't make more coal or petroleum. It is what it is. Ciao. अब हिंदी में Renewable resources वो हैं जो कुदरती तौर पर जल्दी से भर जाते हैं या फिर से उग जाते हैं, जैसे सूरज की रोशनी, हवा और पानी। दूसरी तरफ non-renewable resources एक fixed quantity में है, इन्हें बनने में लाखों साल लगे। अगर ये एक बार खत्म हो गए तो ये हमारी लाइफ में तो वापस नहीं आने वाले, जैसे कोयला और पेट्रोल।
Now, I want everyone to pay close attention to this slide. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make. Please remember, renewable does not mean unlimited. It's a very common misunderstanding. Just because a river gets new water from rain, it doesn't mean we can dump all our factory waste into it. Why? Because if we pollute it faster than nature can clean it, that water is no longer a usable resource for us, is it? It's still there, but it's useless. Same for a forest. We must respect what is called nature's rhythm of restoration. That's just a fancy way of saying we must respect the speed at which nature can heal itself. इस बात को हमेशा याद रखें। Renewable का मतलब unlimited बिल्कुल नहीं होता। अगर हम प्रकृति के खुद को ठीक करने की स्पीड से ज़्यादा तेज़ी से उसे बर्बाद करेंगे तो रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज भी खत्म हो सकते हैं या बेकार हो सकते हैं।
Let's try to understand this with a very, very simple example from our own homes. Imagine the water tank on your roof is like planet Earth's resources. In step 1, the tank is completely full. We have plenty of resources, no problem. Now, look at step 2. If we use the water carefully, we close the tap while brushing, we fix any leaks, the water in the tank will last for a very long time. This is called sustainable living. But then there's step 3. What if we are wasteful? We leave the tap running, we take long showers. What happens? The water level drops very, very fast. This is called overexploitation. And you know what that leads to? The final stage. The tank is empty. This is called depletion. And now there's a crisis for everyone in the house. This simple story, my friends, is exactly what we are doing with many of our planet's precious resources.
So far, everything we've talked about has been a bit theoretical, right? Definitions, examples, but what happens in the real world when we get it wrong? In this next section, things get very serious. We're going to look at the real cost, the true consequences of overuse. And we will do this by studying a very powerful case from our own country, from the state of Punjab.
This timeline tells a very important story. It all started back in the 1960s with the Green Revolution. Now, this was a good thing. It was needed to grow more food for our country. But the new types of crops were very thirsty. They needed a lot more water than the old ones. So, to get this water by the 1980s, farmers all over Punjab started digging tube wells to pump out water from under the ground, which we call groundwater. The first signs of trouble appeared in the 2000s. The water table, which is the level of water underground, started dropping really fast. And fast forward to today, we are now facing a massive crisis. About 80% of Punjab's land is now in a category called overexploited. It's a simple word, but it means something terrifying. We are pulling water out of the ground much, much faster than the rain can put it back in.
And just to give you an idea of how serious this is, just look at this number. In many, many parts of Punjab, the groundwater level has fallen so much that you have to dig down 30 meters to find water. Can you even imagine that? That's like the height of a 10-story building. So a decision made for short-term food security has now led to a long-term water crisis. What does this teach us? It teaches us that our choices today have consequences for a very, very long time.
And the problem is, it never stops with just one resource. Overuse of one thing creates a chain reaction, like ripples in a pond. When you overuse groundwater, you also use more electricity to pump it out. The extra fertilizers used for crops pollute the soil and the remaining water. This damages biodiversity, which is the variety of all living things. And when you put it all together, it adds up and contributes to bigger problems like climate change. So the main takeaway here is that everything in nature is connected. You can't just damage one part and expect the rest to be fine.
Okay, hearing all this can feel a little bit scary, I know. But the point of learning is not to get scared, is to find solutions. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. We will shift our focus from problems to answers. And what's really amazing is that the answers can be found in two places, in the wisdom of our ancestors and in the science of our future.
This table beautifully shows us how we can find that balance. Let's take a problem like soil degradation, when the soil loses its health. Our traditional wisdom gives us solutions like organic farming, and modern innovation gives us powerful tools like advanced composting. What about the energy crisis? Well, our traditions teach us to respect nature's cycles, and modern thinking has led to amazing global projects like the International Solar Alliance. And for pollution caused by materials, our ancestors built homes with local mud and stone, which caused no harm. Today, we are inventing new ways to recycle things like waste plastic into roads and bricks. The answer, you see, is to combine the best of the past with the best of the present.
And let's just spend a moment on this beautiful concept, Vrikshayurveda. This is an ancient Indian science all about the life of plants and trees. But it's more than just a book about farming. It's a whole philosophy that teaches us how to live in harmony with nature, how to manage soil and pests without harmful chemicals. It proves that the idea of sustainability isn't new for us. It's a deep, deep part of our Indian heritage. Vrikshayurveda हमारा प्राचीन ज्ञान है. यह हमें सिखाता है कि प्रकृति के साथ तालमेल बनाकर खेती कैसे करें. इससे ये साबित होता है कि सस्टेनेबिलिटी का विचार हमारी संस्कृति का हमेशा से एक हिस्सा रहा है.
So what does a smarter future actually look like? Well, this chart gives us a very clear goal. If we want a truly sustainable future, we have to change where we get our energy from. The plan is to rely much more on renewable sources, like solar energy, which is a huge blessing for a sunny country like India. And at the same time, we have to bring down our use of fossil fuels, like coal and petrol, to a bare minimum. This is the only way forward.
And this is something that should make all of us very proud. India is not just talking. India is leading this change on the world stage. The International Solar Alliance, which was an idea co-founded by India, is now a massive group of countries all working together. And what's their goal? To make solar energy cheap and available for everyone on the planet. This shows our nation's commitment to building a better future for all.
And this brings us to what I believe is the most important part of our entire discussion today. We've talked about global resources, national problems, and international solutions. But now, let's bring it all the way back home. Let's bring it back to you. What is your role in this huge story? This section is about understanding your power and your responsibility to become a steward of the earth.
Please learn this word and never forget it. Stewardship. What does it mean? Stewardship is the job, the duty, of taking good care of something important that has been given to you. It means we are not the owners of planet Earth. No, we are just its caretakers. We are its guardians. We have been given this beautiful home for a short time, and it is our responsibility to look after its health and pass it on in a good or even better condition to the future generations who will come after us. Stewardship का मतलब है जिम्मेदारी से देखभाल करना. हम इस धरती के मालिक नहीं हैं, हम इसके रखवाले हैं. और एक रखवाले का ये कर्तव्य होता है कि वो इसकी सेहत का ख्याल रखे ताकि आने वाली पीढ़ियों को एक स्वस्थ ग्रह मिल सके. And this idea is not new for us. Our own ancient wisdom teaches us this. The beautiful concept of Loka Sangraha from the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that our actions should not just be for our own personal profit or desire. We must act for the well-being of everyone, for the good of all of society, and for the generations that are yet to be born. This is the moral and ethical way to think about using our natural resources.
So, now it's time for some action. I am giving you your first mission, a fun, practical assignment to become a steward. And you can start today, right in your own home. Let's call it the home audit. For just one day, become a water watcher. Just notice, where does most of the water in your house go? Then, become an energy detective. Make a small note of how many times you see a light or a fan running in an empty room. Go on a plastic patrol. Your mission is to find just 3 single-use plastic items that your family could easily replace with something reusable. And finally, do a waste check. After your dinner, just look at your plate. How much food is left over? I promise you, this little mission will make you look at your own home and your own habits in a completely new way.
And so, we will end our lesson today with one final question for you to think about. Every single resource we use, every drop of water, every grain of sand, every piece of metal in our phones, it has a story that is millions of years old. It holds the history of our planet. So the question for us, the question for you and for me, is simply this. What story will our actions tell? What will be our chapter in the great, great story of this earth? Think about that. Thank you so much.